So in this session, we'll learn how to use Power Query Editor in Excel. First, let's understand what is this Power Query Editor. Power Query Editor is a tool or say a different window in Excel, or it is also available in Power BI, where it will help us in editing the data. It is a very simple tool or say feature in Excel or Power BI which will help us in modifying our data and get it back to our Excel or Power BI where we can create the reports. So where is that available in Excel? If you go to this data, here we have this Power Query Editor. If I click on this, it will launch a Power Query Editor, the separate window where we can modify our data and then we can get it back to our Excel. But keep in mind, when I'm actually using this Power Query Editor, we need to have the queries or say the tables to modify it. In Power BI, we can directly go and we can take the tables here, or we can import the data and we can edit. But in Excel, we cannot do that. We have to first take the data into our Excel sheet here, and then we have to modify it. So first we'll see how we can get the data here and then start working on it. First thing is I can copy and paste the data, convert that into table, and then we can go to Power Query Editor, or we can import the data directly from this get data and then we can go to Power Query Editor. Anything is fine. Let's go to this from file. We'll take some files. We have some files here with some examples where we can work on each different file. I'll go here. Let's say get data from file from workbook. And we'll go to this folder, say open. We'll see how we can modify the text column, number column, or date columns. First, we'll select this text column, say import. Once I say import, the data will get imported to our Excel sheet. And then it will ask whether I need to transform load. Let's select this format text columns. This is the sheet, or say this is the workbook. In that we have the sheet format text columns. Once I select this, you can see that I'm getting the data preview here. Here we get this load and transform. If I say load, this will get directly loaded to our Excel sheet with the queries as a query. And later on we can go and we can edit that as well. What we'll do is directly we'll go to this transform data where we can format it. When I click on this transform data, so this will take me to the Power Query Editor window where I can modify the data what we've imported. We can see that in this query, I have this format text columns. Now, what all things we can format? Let's say this is a text column. Here, go to this transform and add column. There is something called as transform and add column. If you go to this transform, just go to this. Here we have a group called as text column and we can format it. Click on this format. Here I have few options: lower, uppercase, capitalize, trim, clean, and add prefix and suffix. Go to this add column. Here also we'll have similar kind of options: lowercase, uppercase, capitalize, trim, clean. Why there are two different options for editing it? I'll tell you. When I say transform, select any column, and if you're going here and click on any of these options, say for example, if you want to change this to lower case, if you click on this selected column will be modified. But if I go to this add column, if I select this column and if I use this lowercase, what it will do is it will add a new column and then it will edit. So we have to decide whether I need to modify the selected column or if I have to make a duplicate of it and then modify it. We can still use this transform by say making a duplicate of this column. Right click and say duplicate column. There will be a column which gets duplicated. I'll select this and I'll go to this transform. Here I have this text column format. If I click on this lowercase, you can see that the data will get changed to lowercase. So instead of making a copy of it and then clicking on this transform and then modifying it, I can directly go to this add column and say format Now I'll say uppercase. The selected column will be duplicated and it will be changed to uppercase. Whatever changes we are doing, whatever modifications we are doing, everything will be recorded here. You can see that. This is called as the queries. We have this query settings, and all the steps what we apply on this table, that is the query, it will be listed down one below the other. Just now we made a duplicate of a column, so that is recorded here, and then we changed that to a lowercase, and then we inserted with uppercase text. Now suppose if you want to do more, say if you want to apply more functions on this, more options on this, we have something called as capitalize each word. This is something like a proper case. Let me just close this query settings. If you want, we can get it back later. I'll select this uppercase column, which we converted it. If you go to this format and if you say capitalize each word, the characters, whatever you see here, the first character of every word will be capital. That is, we're trying to capitalize each word. Now let's go to this column. Here I have some names, customer names, where we have some extra spaces here. If you want to remove the extra spaces in Excel, we use a formula called as trim. Similarly, here we have this trim. Let me click on this trim. You can see that I'm getting one new column where the spaces, the extra spaces are removed. Let's select this column. Here we have something called as clean. Clean will actually remove the non-printable characters. So it says create a new column that contains the values in selected column with non-printable characters removed. What are non-printable characters? Sometimes what will happen when I'm copying data from various data sources or say some websites, we might get some characters which are not seen, say invisible characters which are non-printable characters. So for removing those things, we use this clean. If I just click on this clean, you can see that a new column is created and it says the enter mark, whatever was there, that is removed here. So either I can use transform or add column to modify. If I say transform, the selected column will be modified. If I go and click on this add column, a new column will be added. Let's try some examples on transform as well. So let's go to this, some of the columns. I'll just take one column. Let's take this customer name and we'll select this text column format. We'll say add prefix. Add prefix will help us in adding some data to the selected column, that is prefix. I will type ind hyphen. If I say OK, you can see that the characters what we mentioned will be prefixed here to the existing column data. Let's again go here. We have suffix, that is in the end. I will say some characters, I'll type, say OK. You can see that I'm getting the characters in the end like this. So this is to modify the text columns. Now how to get it to the Excel? So just close this. We'll just close and say load. Just click on this close and load. This will get closed. And now this will be taken back to Excel as a query. And you can see that the data, whatever was there, we modified in Power Query Editor. Everything will be available here. All right. Let's take one more data, that is to modify the date. Go to this data, get data from file. Now I'll say from workbook. Let's take format date columns. I'll say import. Now we are trying to modify the date columns. Select this format date columns. And here, instead of going to this transform data, suppose if you load this to my Excel sheet, let's say load. If you load this, I'll still have this query. So you don't have to bother. Suppose if you think that I want to modify it, you don't have to bother. Just double click on this query what we have here, or you can go here, just move my cursor, we'll get one small pan here or say window and click on this edit. So anywhere you can do, or I can so double click on this. If I double click, I'll go to this Power Query Editor. So you don't have to bother whether I've already loaded to Excel or directly I go to this Power Query Editor. Now I have this order date. I want to modify this. You can see that I have already one text columns, which is a previously edited query. Now I'm taking this one more date columns. If you go and check here, the date column, suppose if you want to modify, here again, I have this transform and add column. Both are there. If you want to modify this existing column, that is selected column, you can go to this date and time column. Here I have so many options where I can modify it. If you want to add some columns, you can go to this add column. Here I have this date and time. Here I can go and I can modify it. But if you select some other column, this will not be enabled because this is not a date column. So only the date column can be modified here in this date and time options here. So what all things we can do? Suppose if you want to extract only year, start of the year, end of the year, the month name, month number, start of the month. So anything if you want to get, you can use it here. Suppose if you think that, say, I want to duplicate this query, that is the table, just make a duplicate of it. Now let's go here. I'll select this and work on this year selection, say year options. If you click on this year, I'll get only the year. This is exactly similar to the function year what we use in Excel. Equals year and select the date, I'll get only the year. I want to get the starting date of the year. So start of the year, let's say start of the year, you can see that I'll get the starting date. I want the ending year, say end date. Go here, end of the year, I'll get the end of the year. I have made a duplicate of it. Let's observe, I'll just go here and say close and load. I made a duplicate of it. You can see that I'm getting this one more query, and here I have the data which I've just imported and modified. Let's go to the sheets here and check. See, there is one more sheet which got created and the table got created here. That is the another table which I duplicated. If I want to modify this, double click. Again, I'll go back to the Power Query editor. So whatever tables you are actually importing, everything will be listed in this Power Query editor here in this query. Right click, and if you want to rename it, I'll just say format date underscore month. So I'll just try to make duplicates of it so that we have a lot of options to modify in date functions, or say dates or date options. Let me make one more duplicate of it for quarter, then one for week, another one for day. We worked on year. Now let's select this for month. Select the date column. Go to this transform or say add column. Let's go to add column so that we'll get more columns added. Date. Here I have this month. If I click on this month, I'll get the month number. Select this order date and select month and say start of the month. I'll get the start of the month here, end of the month. And if you want the number of days in a month, say days in month. And if you think that I want the month name, I can select here, I'll get the month name. So if you think that you want to get the month name, you can go and select here. So previously we had to type somewhere and get the month name, and then we look up so many things we had to do. Now it's not like that. Just come to this Power Query editor, select the date and take the month name. So now it has become so easy that we can easily get all these informations without writing the formulas as well. So this is for month. Next option is quarter. Let me just rename this. I'll say quarter. All right. If you want to work on quarters, let's select this. Say date. Then I have this quarter of the year. So in a year, I have 4 quarters. If I click on this, I'll get the quarter number of the date what we have selected. Select this date and say quarter, start of the quarter, and then end of the quarter. So likewise, I can easily get the information, so you don't have to write a lot of formulas for this. Next, week. If you're working on week or say weekly reports, if you want to get that week information of the date what we have, select here, go to this date, week, it will ask a week of the year. Click on this, we'll get the week of the year. Say in a year we have 52 or 53 weeks. It'll just give me the week number of this particular date. Select this date, say week of the month. In a month, on which week it falls. Say we have 4 or 5 weeks or whatever. So it will give me the in a month on which week it falls. Date, week, start of the week. It will give me the starting of that week and then end of the week. All right. Now coming to the day. Let's say day. I'm just using this in a very systematic way where you can easily understand how we can actually modify it. Because when we take this to Excel, we should know that what modifications we have done. That's why I like to always try to rename the objects or say the tables in a proper manner. I've selected this format date underscore day. Let's go to this add columns. Here we have this date. Select the date column and day. If you want to extract day, just click on this day. I'll get the day. Then if you want to extract day of the week, click on this. We have the serial numbers for day of the week. That is 0 is Sunday, then 6 is Saturday. So the index starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, something like that. Let's select here and then I'll say day of the year. On which day this falls in a year. Say this is 8th November 2017. It falls on 312th day of the year. Let's select this date and now I'll go to this day and here it says start of the day, end of the day. So you don't have to bother because it will give me the same day because it's starting and ending. It will be same. Let's go to this name of the day. It will give me the name of the day. You can see that 0 is Sunday. So if you think that you want to get the name of the day, you can go and you can select this name of the day and you can get the name of the day. Now if I close this, let's close this and say load, you can see all the queries, whatever we created, that will be listed down here with the data here. See, we'll get the data. Now, after getting the data here, we can use it for pivot tables or creating charts or anything, whatever you feel you're trying to work on it. So it is such easy, you can easily modify the data, just take it to the Power Query editor. So we learned how to edit text and date. Let's see how we can work on numbers as well. Go to this data, get data from file. Now we'll take the numbers. So numbers means it is like doing some calculations or converting some numbers from negative numbers to positive numbers. I'm selecting this table and I'll say transform data. Now we know that if we want to load, we can load it and then go to transform data. Now we know that if you load, then again we can go to this Power Query editor. So what I'll do is directly we'll go to this transform data. Once you go to this transform data, we'll see how we can modify the number columns. Now we have this number column here. Let me select this column, sales column. Now we'll go to this add column. Here we have this from number. We have so many options here. Let's go to the standard. Here we have this add, multiply, subtract, divide or something. Let's say I want to add some values for this. I'll click on this add. And if I go here, it'll ask for what is the value I need to add. I'll say 1000 and say, okay, you can see that 1000 has been added to all the values in this sales column. Subtract, suppose if you want to minus some values, let's go here. Let's say I'll subtract 100. Say okay. You can see that 100 will be subtracted from the column here. Similarly, I have this multiplication division. Let's go to this division. If I say divide, it'll ask for a number to divide. Let's say I'll divide this by 17 and say okay. When I divide this, when I use this divide option, the result will be with decimal numbers. But there is one more option, that is divide integer. So what this will do is this will just give me the quotient, that is without decimal number. Say same number I am dividing, say 17 and say okay. And if you go here and check, here it says 15.409, here it says 15. That means only the integer part will get will not get the decimal numbers. Let's select this. We have something called as modulo. Modulo is nothing but if I divide some number and we get some remainder. So that remainder is the result for this modulo. It is exactly like what we have this mod function in Excel. Let's say I'll divide this by 2 and say okay. So all the numbers will be divided by 2 and whatever remainder I'm getting, so that I'll get here. So these are some number options what we can use. Apart from that, we have say some scientific operations as well. Say we have this absolute value. Absolute value will actually help us in converting negative numbers to positive numbers. Let's try one example. If you go to this profit, here if you just click on this, we have so many negative numbers here. Select this and here I'll click on this absolute. When I click on this absolute, if you go here and check, we don't have any negative values. That means when I say absolute value, it will convert the negative numbers to positive numbers. So likewise, there are so many other options as well. Say if you want to round the values, say for example, I have some column here. I'll say round. It allows for the number of decimals to round. I'll say 2 decimals. Say okay. You can see that this value will be rounded off to 2 decimals. And we also have some information options where I can check whether it is even or odd. It will just give me the true or false. Let's take this integer division. What we have the number, I'll say is even. It will give me the true or false. If it is even, you can see that 56, it says true. 15 is false because 15 is odd number, 56 is even number. So likewise, I can use this options for modifying my numbers as well. Now if I close this, automatically this will get loaded to my Excel. All right, you can see that. So whatever modifications or additions, whatever I did, so that will be available here. All right, so we understood about how to format the text, numbers, and date. Now we'll see how we can manage the columns or records or say rows. Sometimes what will happen, we would have imported the entire table and I don't want few columns to be shown, or I have so many rows which I've taken, but I don't want to work on all the rows. I need to remove some rows or keep some rows. For that, we have an option called as manage columns and reduce rows. Let's see. We'll take a new file itself here. I'm just going to new file. Go to this data and we say get data. So what I'll do is I'll take one file called as manage columns. Say import. In this file, I have a lot of data. So assume that I want some columns. I don't want to keep all the columns, very few columns I need. So I'll go to this transform data. So what manage columns will do is it will help us in retaining some columns or deleting some columns, that is removing some columns. So here I have so many columns. I would have imported it now. Now I feel that I don't want few columns. Say for example, I don't want this customer ID column. Here in this home tab, we have this manage columns. In manage columns, we have two options. One is choose columns and remove columns. Let's go to this choose columns. If I click on this choose columns here, I have two options inside that choose columns. One is choose column and go to column. So what is this go to column? Say I have a list of columns here. There are so many columns. I want to go to one column. Assume that there are 100 columns. So what we'll do, we'll go here and say go to column. Here it will list down all the columns. Let's say I want to go to the sales column. I'll go to the sales and say okay. Automatically it will take me to this column. Now if you think that you want to modify like what we just saw, modify the data by using this number columns or something, or if you want to check some data here, you can go to that particular column. Other option is choose columns. So what is this choose column? Let's go here. I'll say choose columns. It'll help me in choosing whatever columns I need to keep it. I have a list of columns here. Let me just remove this. Say I want order ID, order date, then I want customer name, region, state, sales, and profit. That's all. I don't want any other columns. Say okay. See, only these columns will be there. Now, if I go to Excel sheet, only these columns will be carried. Now, suddenly you might think that I wanted some more columns, so Control Z will not work. Keep in mind, Control Z will not work. But what to do? I've deleted some columns. You don't have to bother. I told you every actions will be listed down this query settings. You can see that when I removed some columns here, it says remove other columns. Just click on this cancel button. You will get all the columns which you had removed here. Every steps will be recorded here. So choose columns will help me in choosing the columns. Whatever columns I want, I can just keep it. Next one is the remove columns. Here it says remove columns, remove other columns. What remove columns will do is whichever column I select, say for example, I'll select this customer ID and I'll go to this remove columns. I'll say remove columns. That selected column will be removed. If you want to remove multiple columns, select the column, hold control, and you can select multiple columns as well like this. I selected 3 columns now. Go to this remove columns and say remove columns. You also can remove the columns by right click and say remove or remove other columns. So what this remove other columns will do, let's see. Remove other columns, what it will do is whatever columns I've selected, it will retain that and remove all the other columns. Let's say I want order ID, order date, customer name, and sales. That's all. Rest all the columns I need to remove. Go to this remove columns and say remove other columns. So whatever I've selected, only those columns will be retained. All the other columns will be removed. Now, if I go here and say close and load, you can see that only those columns will be retained here in my table in Excel. But again, if you think that you want to get back, say double click. You can go back to the Power Query editor. You can see that still have those queries. Let me remove this, remove other columns. I got all the columns now. Now I'll go here and say close and load. You just see the table, whatever is there, it will get modified like this. So you can modify, edit anything here. Right. Next is similarly, we have rows to modify. Suppose if you want to edit the rows, let's go here from file, from workbook, and here I'll say reduce rows, say import. Okay, there are so many options what we can do. So what I'll do is I'll select all the options here. All are small options, but still there are so many options to work on records because mainly we'll be working on these records. So I've covered all the topics here. For that, I've taken all the data here. I'll say transform data directly. I'm going to Power Query editor and we'll see what all things we can do in this rows. So previously we had to modify the data in Excel itself, and then we have to take the data to say Excel for creating some reports or whatever. But now it's not like that. Even if it is unclean data, we can clean it in Power Query editor very easily. We'll go one by one. Here we have this reduce rows. There are two options. One is keep rows and remove rows. Let's go to this keep rows first. If you click here, there are so many options. First option is keep top rows. I have a table. I want to keep only 10 rows. Rest all has to be removed. Go to this keep rows, say keep top rows. It'll ask the option. I'll say I want to keep top 10 rows. If I say okay, you can see that only the 10 rows will be there. So again, you can go to Excel and you can start creating the reports or work on this table. Next option is keep bottom rows. Just reverse of it. Let's select this. Okay, I'll choose this. I'll use this keep top rows only. Say keep bottom rows. I'll say keep bottom 10 rows. See, only the bottom 10 rows will be kept here like this. The rest, all the other records will be removed. Next, keep a range of rows. Let me select this, keep range of rows. Range of rows, what it will do is, it will ask for the starting row ID, the starting row number. From there, how many rows I need to keep. Go to this keep rows, say keep a range of rows. Here it says first row. Let's say I want to start my first row from 101, the row number 101. From 101, I need 50 rows. Rest all I need to remove. Say OK. You can see that I given the row ID so that it will be easy for us to understand. If you go here, from 101st row till 150th row, it is retaining it. If you see here, it says 50 rows. That means we have kept that range, that is 101 to 150th row, that is 50 rows. Next, keep duplicates. I want to keep all the duplicate values and remove all the unique values. If you go to this keep duplicates table, you can see that, say, there are some duplicate values, I need to keep it. But just observe, here I have one row which is a heading. If you see the heading here, say column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, this was supposed to be the heading, but this heading has become like a data in this table. I want to move this heading on top. So what we'll do is, here we'll have something called as use first row as headers. If you click on this, the data which was there here in the first row will move as a heading. Now if you check this, I have kept on flag here as duplicate so that it will be easy for us to recognize all these, whatever duplicates are there, those records are duplicate. I want to keep all the duplicates and remove all the unique values. You can see that this row is unique, this row is unique, this row is unique. There are some unique. Select all the columns by holding Control, and we'll go to this keep rows and we'll click on this keep duplicates. See, all the unique values will get deleted and only duplicates will be retained. All right, next one is keep errors. If you go here, I have this keep errors table. There are some errors, and you can see there is one red mark also here. This red mark is actually the percentage of errors we have in this columns. If you go here, we have something called as column quality in view. Click on this column quality. You can see that error is 8%, 8% here, 2%, depending on the number of errors in that column. I want to keep only the errors, the row which has got errors. I'll hold Control and I'll select all these three columns. Go to this home tab. Here I'll say keep errors. Click on this keep errors. See, only the error columns. Wherever we have this error rows, the entire row will be retained. So why actually we should do this? Sometimes what will happen, I need to check which all rows have got errors, so we can keep these errors and we can go and we can check the data, the source data. This is for keep rows. We have something for remove rows. So what is that remove rows? Let's see. It is just exactly opposite of keep rows. To go here, say remove top rows. Let's go to this remove top rows. See the data here. So what has happened here? The data is starting from somewhere in the 5th row. Not always the data will be starting from A1. Say let's go here. I'll show you that data as well. Say reduce rows. I'll just take the data and I'll show you this data. That is reduce rows. Okay, we cannot open, I think, because we are in Power Query Editor. Okay, let me just show you the data later because already I've opened this query editor. Assume that the data is starting from row number 5. Usually the data will start from A1, so we don't have any problem. So what it will do is it will have the row number 1. From here the data will be available. But in this case, the data is starting from 5th row. So I have to remove these rows, and then this 5th row should be the heading. So what we'll do is we'll go to this remove rows. I'll say remove top rows. I'll remove the first 4 rows. You can see that the 4 blank rows got removed. Now here this row ID, whatever is there, that has to go on top. That is in the heading. You can see that it says column 1, column 2, column 3, but the heading is in first row. Just go here to this transform, say use first row as headers. Now we got the heading. If you think that this say the column quality is disturbing you, you can just go and you can uncheck this, it will go. But if you enable this, you can know that how the quality of my column is. Say here, valid is 100%. That means there is no errors, no blanks. Let me just remove this. If you want, you can enable that. You can see that the green line is full now. If you have that errors, you'll get some, depending on the percentage, the red color will be available here. Now I removed the top rows and made the first row has got headers. Now the data is clean. I can work with the reports also like this. All right, let's go here. The next option is remove bottom rows. Let's go to this remove bottom rows. If you think that I want to remove some rows here, let's say I want to remove the bottom rows, the bottom 10 rows or 15 rows. I'll go here, say remove bottom rows. I'll say remove 15 bottom rows. You can see that I have only 10 rows here. The bottom 15 rows are removed. Let's go here, say remove alternative rows. I'll select this table, just observe. The alternative rows means keeping one row and deleting one row, keeping one row and deleting one row. Here we have an option of how many rows to retain, how many rows to remove. But this will be uniform. It's not that randomly we can do that. Let's go to this remove rows. Here I have this remove alternative rows. We'll have three different options here. First, rows to remove. Here I should start removing the rows from row number 2. I'll say 2. Wherever I have these zeros, you can see that 1 0 0 2 1 0 0 2. That means wherever I have these zeros has to be removed. Number of rows to remove, I'll say 2. That means from row number 2, I'll remove these 2 rows. The next, how many rows I should keep? That is 2 and 1. Here I have these 2 rows, this to be written, I'll say 2. So depending on your data, you can mention this. In my data, the second row has to be removed. From second row, it has to be removed. So from second row, 2 rows has to be removed. After that, 2 rows has to be kept. Then again, 2 rows will be removed. Then again, 2 rows will be kept. 2 rows will be removed. So I told you this should be uniform. If I say OK, you can see that all the zeros, whatever were there, the alternative rows that will get removed, and I'll get only these rows with the serial number 1 and 2. All right, next one, remove duplicates. If you see this, even the icon actually resembles our Excel remove duplicates. Let's select the table, remove duplicates. Here, again, we have this column 1, column 2, column 3. Wherever you see that column 1, column 2, column 3, just go and check the first row. If that is the header, just click on this, use first row as headers. Done. If that is not header, you can go and you can double click on the column, you can rename it. But make sure that the first row, if it is header, then you can click on this. I want to remove duplicates. Select all the columns. Go to this remove rows, say remove duplicates. All the duplicates will be removed and it will return only unique values. It is exactly the Excel remove duplicates. All right, next one is remove blank rows. Remove blank rows if you have any blank. So here it says null, that means it is blank. If you just go here and say remove blank rows, it will remove all the blank rows here. But keep in mind, if you have data in any of this one cell, then that is not blank rows. Blank rows means the entire row should be blank. Go to this remove rows and say remove blank rows. All the blank rows will be removed automatically. Next one is remove errors. If you go here, say remove errors. So you have this quality here. If you see this, there are some errors here. Let me just select all the columns. You can see that there is some red mark here. I'll say remove errors. Just see all the errors will be removed. You can see that there is no red marks here because all the errors will be removed. In this case, I'm not interested in checking the errors. Let's close this. Cell road. Now all the queries, whatever we have done, that will be loaded here one by one. Let's go here. You can see that all the data, whatever we just modified, will be available here like this. So it is still loading here because there are so many tables. So all the data has been loaded here like this. So this is how we can actually take my data and I can modify it in Power Query Editor and get it back to Excel. So here we just saw some of the Excel examples. We can also take the data from various other sources. Still, there are so many things to learn. So we'll continue with the next session because here we have so many options to learn in Power Query Editor. And I was talking about the rows. Let me just show you. Remove top row. See, here the data is actually starting somewhere from this row. Usually the data will be somewhere here starting from A1. If it is starting from A1, so we don't have to bother. Sometimes, not always, we'll get the data from somewhere in middle of the rows or somewhere. Sometimes it will be in somewhere. Some blank columns also will be there. So we can use that manage columns and remove the columns and reduce rows to reduce the remove the rows, and then we can get the data in proper manner and we can start working on it as well. So still there are so many interesting options in Power Query Editor that will continue in the next session.